Ah, hello, everyone. And thank you so much for joining us. As I begin every session I start, I'd like to begin with three simple statements. Thank you, please, and I'm sorry. Thank you, please, and I'm sorry. Yes, you guessed it. My name is Coach Thabiso Mailula. And yes, some of you guys will know me as just Thabiso Mailula, but yeah, I'm a life coach. I'm a life coach trainer, NLP trainer, and a master NLP coach. Unleash the greatness within. Unleash the greatness within. So allow me to start with those three statements, which is thank you. So thank you so much for joining me on this session. I mean, it is a Thursday evening, but it was a Thursday, those of you guys who are used to it. But yeah, thank you so much for joining me live on this session. I know for some of you, it might have been short notice. Some of you have requested links, but thank you so much for joining me. Thank you so much for trusting that you can gain value from these sessions. Thank you so much for deciding that you matter, because I think in these times that we find ourselves in right now, a lot of losses, a lot of things that are happening, many of us have resorted to doing things our own way. I always say, in life, we find ourselves having these little disruptions, little disruptions that we can easily just sweep under the carpet. And I think this, what we are facing right now, even though some of us have continued to sweep those little disruptions, has been a massive disruption in our lives, is starting to impact our relationships, starting to spend a lot more time with your loved ones. Something that we thought maybe would be good, now we're starting to realize, okay, maybe spending too much time might not necessarily be a good thing. So I think now we're starting to find different ways of navigating businesses. I mean, I know we've gone virtual. However, we still have a lot of clients. We've lost a lot of clients who still feel, you know what, I would love to attend the face-to-face. So I know businesses have been hit hard by what's happening now. So these major disruptions are really, 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 affecting us in negative ways. And right now we're forced to actually look at those things that we've been overlooking, those things that we've been hiding, those things that we've been neglecting about ourselves. So I think right now we're forced to start reflecting and looking at ourselves. So thank you for actually realizing that maybe I need to discover who I truly am. Maybe I need to discover what greatness I actually possess within me. And so, yeah, this session is mainly to just help you discover if indeed you are living to your full potential, or if indeed you are hiding certain parts of you. You are diminishing or dimming your light in order to accommodate other people around you. So thank you so much for deciding that you want to come and introspect on your life. Please have an open mind to these sessions. Please allow yourselves to simply just listen to yourselves. I always say in life, we are always communicating with ourselves. We are always communicating and listening to ourselves. So we are speaking not only with other people, but we are also speaking to ourselves. And as we speak to other people and as we speak to ourselves, we are also listening to the things that we are saying to ourselves about ourselves. The question is, have you been paying attention? Please pay attention to yourself. Please listen to what your body is telling you. Our bodies are always communicating with us. What is your body communicating with you? And lastly, I'm sorry. I'm sorry for anything that you might discover about yourself that you need to work on, that maybe you were not yet ready to work on. I'm sorry if you discover that there are certain things that you've been sweeping under the carpet, certain things that have been making you feel that you are not enough, and realizing that all you've been doing to prove that you are enough is something that is not sustainable. I'm sorry if you happen to discover that in today's session. I'm sorry if I help you realize that you need to start making some changes in your life. I'm sorry if whatever it is that I share today happens to change your life in ways that you did not even imagine without your permission. In that case, I hope you certainly give me permission to come into your home, to come into your life, to come into your mind, to come into your heart. Yes, my name is Coach Thabiso Mailula. And yes, just recently, I need to share this because it's truly just been a rocky journey, a rocky journey towards where I am today. But I've finally just gotten certified, internationally by the mother of NLP, Judith Delosier. So I've just recently been certified as an NLP trainer, and I'm really excited, and I'd just love to share that with you right now. I mean, I've gone through, I think this NLP journey is a tricky journey to navigate. You get certified and then you realize that your certification is not recognized, and you have to go through the process. So I think it's quite important that as you go through this journey, this NLP journey, go out there and find out whether the people that you are, studying with are really accredited, so you don't find yourself wasting your money and your time. But I think with the journey, those of you guys who do come into my courses, I've got life coaching courses, we've got NLP coaching courses, we've got NLP practitioner courses. Those of you guys would love to learn more about them, do check out our website, www.subconsciousfrequency.academy. Check out there the various courses that we have. We have a few courses coming up, and we have a few workshops that we have, like this one. This is the free one. This is just simply to help you realize if indeed, the Unleash the Greatness Within workshop is something that might be, suitable for you, is something that might benefit you. And to start this, I'll start off with just a brief story, because just recently I was watching a movie with my girlfriend, and while we were watching this movie, I remember sitting there at one moment thinking, what's going on in this movie? Is this a horror or what? Sninging while you're watching, you're thinking, and then somebody's being eaten there. Then you're like, what's going on? What's going on? What's going on in this movie? And as we're watching, I remember my girlfriend she's completely terrified of horror movies. And as I was watching a part of me was scared, but a part of me was also quite excited because I didn't think it was a horror movie, but already those movies where now you've caught on and you're really curious how it's going to pan out and that sort of thing. But, and she's really terrified in this situation. But that really just got me thinking, how many of us go through life? How many of us go through life without realizing that the horror movie that we are living in is simply a movie? A movie that at any time you can press stop, check whether it's a horror movie, or you can decide not to watch that movie anymore. How many of us go through life suffering, thinking that we are not good enough through things that have happened to us, believing that we are not good enough? How many of us have lived a life where we are constantly living in fear, thinking that we are not enough because of all these things that have happened, all these things that we are afraid of happening? Do you even know whether those things that you're afraid of happening are real, or whether they're simply what is in your mind? A wise man once said, I've been through so many painful experiences in my life that have caused me a lot of pain and suffering in life, some of which actually happened. Deep, isn't it? How many of us have gone through life hating people, hating ourselves, telling ourselves that we are not good enough due to whatever it is that has happened in our lives, telling ourselves that I need to keep quiet in order to avoid conflict, telling ourselves that I need to remain humble so that people are not offended, telling ourselves that I need to avoid certain things, certain places, simply because of what has happened in the past. Going through life, having these conversations with ourselves that constantly beats us down, that constantly destroys us, stripping us of our dignity, stripping us of our worth. Today's session is simply to just help you realize what it is that has really affected you, what it is that has caused you to be where you are, what it is that has caused you to have what we call limiting beliefs. Unleash the greatness within is something I recently discovered. And when I discovered it through this journey of NLP, realizing that greatness is not something that you need to work for. Greatness is not something that lies out there. Greatness is not something that you have to wait for somebody to come and tell you that you possess. Share my story as to how I got to a point where I realized that I needed to unleash the greatness within. Because until we realize that we need to unleash the greatness within, we constantly live with limiting beliefs in our minds as if it is a norm, as if that is our reality. What is your reality in life? What have you allowed to define who you are? Have you allowed situations in your life to define who you are, what you are capable of, what you are going to achieve in life? So when I was young, maybe let's say 6, 7, we had what we call moraka. So moraka is a place where, when my dad married, he moved out of the family house and then he went and built his own plot. He had bought his own plot, and we had like a farm type of thing there going there. And with that, would often go there maybe on weekends because both my parents, my dad was a teacher, both my parents were teachers. My dad was, I think it was a lecturer. My mom was a teacher then, but we'd just go there on the weekends. And eventually, when my grandfather passed away, my grandmother came to stay down there, and my dad's brothers stayed at the original homestead. So one time while we were visiting there, I remember, my dad, we were just working on the farm because we had a whole lot of mango trees there, a whole lot of mango trees, and various vegetation, other different plants, evos there. I think got banana trees, guava trees. We had a whole lot, but we're just clearing the land to come plant some in some area. Well, that's how I remember it. And then we put all the dirt inside the toilet, but with clarity, my dad has just later explained in life that no, we're actually burning that toilet so that we can, since we had a new one. But anyway, while we're doing that, we're pouring a whole lot of petrol there. We pour a lot of petrol, and my dad feels like, okay, look, I cannot light this because the fumes of the petrol have come onto my body. And I decided, okay, fine. So he's like, no, can you light? So I went there, and obviously because I'm scared, he's saying that this thing, state is everything in life, guys. State is everything in life. Because he said he's afraid that he might get burned. I'm thinking, shucks, I'm also scared. What if that happens to me? So I get in there and I try and light. Obviously, because I'm scared, match switches off before I even, throw it on there. Try and light again, switches off. So my dad decides, okay, fine, no, you know what? Just go back. Let me rather light it. And it lights it. As he lit, there was a massive explosion. After this explosion, my dad was on fire. Literally, I just saw a flame on my dad, and he rolled on the floor and managed to put out the fire. But with that, the only thing that happened to me is just my hair got burnt, but it grew back easily, my dad got badly burnt, and I mean, till today, he still has the scars on his body. But with that whole journey, to give you a bit of context, just before that, we used to have, my dad used to co-own a soccer team, Six Sparkling Stars, and those were the best times in my life. We used to go travel with my dad with all the games. I think sometimes midweek games, sometimes evening games, and I'll travel with the guys. I mean, I'm still very close with some of the guys that played for my dad's team back then, because for me, those guys were like the Bafana 96 for me. They were even better than that team. I mean, I saw these guys going to play for Chiefs in my mind, so much that I was like, nah, man, this team is so good. I think if this team was to play against Chiefs, it's gonna win, man. I remember, that I guess I've always been a visionary at heart from a young age. But I remember at that time, I even at one point wrote Zay Sparkling Stars versus Kaizer Chiefs, because I was like, oh, okay, on these videotapes, everything that's written there, when you put it in, it plays. So I thought, if I put it in, I'll be able to see that team play, my dad's team play against Chiefs. But yeah, that's how much I've always just been a dreamer. But those were the best years of my life. It's really close with my dad. We're going everywhere. He used to buy me soccer boots, and I loved soccer. After this event, he stopped with the soccer team. We stopped traveling together. We stopped going to different places together. And that really, really, hit me hard. Unconsciously, I wasn't even aware, but I just realized I missed that, to a point where now, I was supposed to, teams wanted me to come play because they'd seen me and so forth. But then I had to go to Joburg and study and that sort of thing. And, went to certain schools, went to schools where they said, no, you're not good enough to get into this level. We need to take you to a lower grade. And my dad had to fight for me, but it's quite interesting how my interpretation of that event where I couldn't light that match. My interpretation of it was that I am not good enough. And I started going through life finding proof that I am not good enough. Oh, I'm not good enough to get into the school. Oh, I'm not good enough to do this. I'm not good enough to do that. I'm not good enough. And I found proof. There was so much proof. I'm not good enough for my dad to take me to soccer with him anymore. I'm not good enough. So because of what I did, now there's no more soccer. I'm not good enough. And I kept on looking for proof, and events that happened would build on that, to build this belief that I am not good enough, to a point where now it was, I'm not good enough to get the right grades. I mean, I was always top 5, top 4, top 5, at worst top 5, in those younger years. And then now it's, okay, fine, now I'm not good enough to be in the top 5. And then I'm not good enough to speak. And that really affected my speaking career, well, my academics, because I wasn't good enough to speak, I needed to show that I just don't care. I don't care whether I'm good enough or whatever. And to cope with that, I just didn't care. So I resorted to just being a rascal who would just sabotage himself, and that for me is how I settled for average in life. Because I believed I was not good enough, I settled for average in life. That happened throughout high school. That overflowed into varsity. And I suffered. I suffered a lot because I made decisions that delayed my progress in life. What is it that can affect us from unleashing the greatness within? It is simply our beliefs. Whatever beliefs are limiting in life, that have come from the interpretations, the meanings that we have given to things that happen to us in life. That is what has caused you to believe that you are not enough. That is what has taken away from you the greatness that you believed you had. All of us at some point believed that we could do anything. We had these amazing dreams, all these things that we believed I could achieve this. And something happened that seemed to take away those beliefs that we had about ourselves, that seemed to take away those qualities that we believed we had. What are those things that happened to you in your life that caused you to forget how good you are? That caused you to start doubting how you look? That started making you believe that your looks matter more than the qualities that you possess? That started making you question the qualities that you possess, or things that were said or done to you that made you lose those qualities that you've always possessed in life. Things that can affect our limiting beliefs are things that have been said to us by people that we really value in life, by people that we consider to be really important in life. What are some of the things that have been said to you by people that you value, by people that you've placed a high value on, made you question your beliefs about yourself, that made you question your potential, that made you even give up on your dreams in life? What are those things that have been said to you by your loved ones? I know at some point, I remember even at later years, when one of my trainers said to me, "You don't listen. How are you going to be a good trainer? How can you even be a good coach if you can't even listen? You don't listen." And that took away a lot of the beliefs I had. Already I came into this journey believing that I'm not good enough, and there comes another proof. Poof. Yeah, there you go, Tabiso. You are not good enough. As Ritomo Khalefa, you start thinking, oh, let me start exploring dating. You propose a girl and she says no. Which is, now you start believing, oh, I'm not even good enough to date this person. I'm not good enough to be in a relationship. And we have these limiting beliefs constantly stacking up on us, that we get to a point in life where we start even questioning us. Never, at some point we need to be able to question, whose responsibility is it? Am I truly not good enough? Or did they lose, or is that person not realizing the value that I possess? We've allowed people who have limiting beliefs about themselves, who project onto us to make us believe that we are simply just like them. People who have their own issues, who have said things to us, simply maybe because they are intimidated by you, or simply because you've done something that reminds them of their own weaknesses. And we've allowed this to affect how we live our lives going forward, how we perceive ourselves. Sometimes we've simply even had our parents simply say to us, "I'm busy right now." What is the interpretation that you took out of those situations? I want us to realize the power of words on our lives. Because it's not only the events that happened that made us start questioning ourselves, that made us start questioning who we are. It is also the meanings that we attach to those events, how we interpreted those events that made us start questioning who we are. What are the meanings that you've given to the things that have happened in your life? When your parents said that they were too busy for you, or they were not busy, they were busy at that moment to talk to you, what is the interpretation that you took out of that? Could it be that you might have said that you're not good enough for their attention in that moment? What is the meaning that you have given to the things that have happened to you in life? When something happened to you at school and your friends started laughing at you, what's the meaning that you gave to those things that happened in your life? We've had all these things that have happened in our lives, that have happened, that have led to us losing all these qualities that we used to believe we possess. And guess what? Until we realize that we are already enough, until we realize that we are worthy of greatness, until we realize, even not even worthy of greatness, until we realize that greatness is within us, Wujish, we will constantly be seeking greatness. We will constantly be chasing greatness. We will constantly be chasing those qualities that we need. And I don't know about you, but the moment I am chasing something, the moment I chase somebody or something that I love, it has a tendency of being elusive. It has a tendency of running away. You know, even if I chase my nephew, you know, they'll run away. You know, if I chase an animal that I love, it'll run away. Whatever we chase in life has a tendency of running away. Hence, Unleash the Greatness Within says, stop chasing, because it's not out there. It's already inside of you. So Unleash the Greatness Within is a call to action. A call to action to simply help you become aware of all the qualities that you've lost. Become aware of all that you are. You know, there's a song I love, and those of you who follow me, you probably heard me play this song, and the song is Kure Kure. You know, Kure Kure, it's a Zimbabwean song, and simply just means far, far, far away, far away. And basically just speaks about where I come from is very far away. You know, where I'm going is very far away. And my interpretation of that is simply that which says that where I come from, who I am, is not only who Thabiso is since he was born until where he is now. Who I am is not only the Thabiso that you see right now speaking here. Who I am is not only the Thabiso that possesses the things that you see, that you know, that you are aware of. Who I am has got nothing to do with what you are seeing, what I have, what I've done, what I'm doing. Absolutely nothing. I like to define myself as the universe. I am the universe, you know, and with that, it simply says, I was born from the moment God spoke the word. When God spoke the word, that's when I was born. And everything that came after the word, I am. Everything that came after the word, I am. Because of all those people that have given birth, and given birth to who I am today, I exist and they exist through my DNA. Through my DNA, from the beginning, the origin of the word, all of that exists in my DNA. That's who I am. I'm everything that was spoken by the word of God. I am everything that I'm still going to achieve while I'm alive and through my children or through the people that I've had an impact on in life. Who am I? I'm everything that was, that I'm aware of, and that which I'm not aware of. Who am I? I'm everything I am good at right now that I'm aware of, that which I'm not aware of. I ask again, who am I? I'm everything I am still going to achieve in the future. I'm everything I'm still going to create that I'm aware of and that which I'm not aware of. Who am I? I'm the universe. Why do I say I'm the universe? Because this finger is a part of my hand. My hand is a part of my arm. My arm is a part of my body. I am a part of my family. My family is a part of their community. Their community is a part of South Africa. South Africa is a part of Africa. Africa is a part of the world. The world is a part of the universe. Who am I? Who are you? Who are you? What have you allowed to define who you are in life? What are all the things that you have lost in life as a result of not knowing who you are? Who have you allowed to define who you are? Because what's happened in life is we've allowed people to come in at any point of our lives, and define and say, you are this. At a certain point in my life, and defined me as that being my identity without even knowing where I come from, without even knowing the qualities I possess, without even knowing what I possess within my DNA, without even knowing what I'm going to create, what I'm going to become. And this person felt that they can come and they have a right to give me a label that many of us have taken as an identity of who we are and what we are capable of achieving in our lives. What are the things that you have lost in life as a result of those people who have given you those labels? Better yet, take some time right now to think of all the labels you have been given in life. What are all the labels that you have been given by people in life? People that you have worked with? What are all the labels that they've given you? And what are the labels that you have believed? Which of those labels that you have been given by people, either your parents, either your friends, either the people that you've been in relationships with, your boss, your colleagues, what are the labels that you've been given? Your mentors. What are all the labels that you have been given in life? How many of those limiting beliefs have you believed to be true about yourself? How have you allowed those beliefs to impact your life? What impact have these beliefs, these labels had on your life? Who have you become as a result of these beliefs, these events that have happened, these things that have been said to you? What are all the things that you have lost as a result of these things? I settled for average in life. I settled for average in life simply because of all these things that have happened. you know? And I simply believe that my father punished me because I was not good enough to light a fire. And I constantly went through life trying to hide other things that I felt maybe might make people realize that I'm not good enough, because I believed that I was not good enough. So my whole life I went through trying to hide certain things that I didn't like about myself, to a point that even, when people would ask, I remember I would go on trips because I thought maybe they would believe that I'm not good enough, or maybe I'm too poor. When you go on trips or sports trips, you've gone to play and you come back and they're like, oh, are you hungry? Guys, ujisha. I was afraid to even say I'm hungry because I thought, yeah, maybe they'll think, yo, I'm not good enough. Those things, and suffer, drive the rest of the journey, regretting why I was afraid to say I am hungry. The other day when I was being interviewed on Power FM, a childhood friend, Felix, called. I mean, we went to Unicorn together, and when he called, he just took me back to, I think, standard 3 or standard 4. Can't remember the year exactly. Standard 3 or standard 4, because I think we're going on these camps. I was so afraid of even saying that I can't even swim. That's how much I did not believe in myself, that I felt I'm not good enough. And people would discover that I'm not good enough if I say I can't swim. Gee, how many of us have done that? Because we are afraid that people might discover that we are not good enough if we admit to not knowing, if we admit to not being capable. And we force ourselves to do something even though we just don't know how to. Some of us have employed people who are like that. And we end up firing them, not realizing that these people just have a limiting belief and are simply afraid of that being proven to be true. Because I was afraid of admitting that I can't swim. I remember there's this one guy, big guy, James Praiser. I must check him on Facebook and see where he is. Just tell him, hey, chief, you know what you did too. This guy's massive. He didn't even have a special chair, in class. We had those small chairs. He had a special, the teacher's chairs. That's how big this guy is. So even if he does something to you, you can't do anything. And this guy pushed me. He pushed me into those damn walls. Those walls, those, I can't remember what you call them, reservoirs type of thing. Pushes me inside there. And I flapped my arms like I could fly. You see those hands, I think I flapped my hands trying to get out of that. And I was pulled out by a girl, Bobby Brooks, and I mean, I'll never forget that moment, but that is another thing that for me, now I felt, oh, my secret was exposed. Now everyone knows that I'm not good enough. And now you just have to start being this naughty boy who just doesn't care, because when you don't care, you feel like you're untouchable. Nobody can touch you because they feel like, oh, this one doesn't care. Oh, what's the point in even saying anything to him? He doesn't really care. Those kind of things. And that's what I actually ended up going through life doing. That went through all the way into varsity, all the way into when I started working. But and now when I started working, I went into the profession of helping people simply because I was afraid, of speaking in public. So I decided, let me work one-on-one. But now this thing of not caring could not work anymore. And that's why now I was having malfunction and I needed to start doing something, because now I just could not go through life thinking, I don't care, while working with patients, because now my clients now would not trust me. So I needed to now start adopting this persona of now being in touch with who I am. I needed to start facing some of those things that I've been brushing under the carpet. What are the things that you are brushing under the carpet in your life? What are all the things that you've been going through life hiding, ignoring, that right now could be eating you, preventing you from becoming that which you want to become. And then we all know of this poem that says, our greatest fear is not that we're inadequate. Our greatest fear is that we are powerful, powerful beyond measure. And we are afraid that if we start believing that, we might have to start living like those people. What are you afraid of in your life? What fears have you allowed to stop you from living your best life? What are the things that you've continued saying to yourself that have made you to stop living your best life? What are the things that you have done to yourself that have made you stop believing that you're good enough? You see, we find different ways of coping in life. We either start treating ourselves in a bad way, we start saying things to ourselves, we start doing things that we know are not good for us, that we know are not helping us. And those things tend to take away from who we are. And we start finding proof that yes, indeed, I am not good enough. What are the things that you've started believing about yourself, that have started limiting you in life? So in NLP, we believe that of all the things that have happened to us, either things that we've been said to us, things that we've seen happen to us, things that triggered, that people did to us, all those things, if we have interpreted these things in ways that are limiting, we go through life thinking that we're not good enough. Or we find ourselves having a problem. Now, I love this definition of a problem, which is simply the interpretation of an event in a specific context. The interpretation of an event in a specific context due to a limited amount of information. So we give events that happen in a specific event a particular meaning. And the meaning that we give to that event, we generalize that that's who we are, or that's what this means every part of our lives. And a lot of the time, we give meanings to events that have happened to us without even getting enough information. Uchisha. That's why I love that question, because it says, even when I think I know, I still don't know. Even when you think you know who you are, you still don't know. Hence my definition, the universe. No matter who I think I am, even when I say I'm the universe, I know that I still have no idea who I really am. I can still get more clarity as to who I am, get more information, and you will understand. And that allows us to just get more curious about who we truly are, instead of taking these things that have been said to us and believing them and allowing them to define who we are. What are the things that you can start being curious about? When I went to tell my dad about this, I spoke to him and I said, because for me, we went through life and he never got to see me play soccer. I love soccer. And after that event, he's never gone to see me. First time he saw me play soccer was already when I was in varsity, and that really made me go through life thinking that I'm not good enough, and it made me question a lot of things about me, my manhood, whether I even want to have children in life and so forth, and simply because I felt if My father is this man that I really look up to. And I feel like we could not have the relationship that I would have loved to have. How can I be a father? You know, and that's the meaning I gave to all of that. Until we spoke about it, and I said, look, this is what I just discovered. Believe you me, I only discovered this last year, you know. And when we spoke about it, it's like, no, look, the reality is, yes, after that event, I didn't blame you at all. I didn't blame you. But after that event, I realized that there was a number of things that were happening. There was an accident that happened where some kids died when they were traveling from Khapane, which is a township close to Zanin. And I realized that at that moment, we need to start saving up and doing things that generate money. And soccer was not generating income. So I needed to start doing things that generate money so that I'm able to take you to better schools, and we're able to move you guys to move to town so that you're closer to school, to reduce the risk, you know, of you guys getting into such accidents. Which Isha, the interpretation I gave into life, I gave into that situation and started finding proof in different areas along my life, you know, and that really, when I got more information about this, it shifted things a lot. What are things that you've gone through that you have given a meaning without necessarily unpacking it to gain more insight about? Unleash the greatness within, simply a process that helps you go back to all those different things that have happened. And I want you to take some time right now, you know. You might want to just allow yourself to just simply just reflect and just go all the way back into your past. And as you go back all the way into your past, just allow yourself to just listen to your body. Just listen and notice all the events that happened, that took away qualities from you, that made you start limiting yourself, that made you start doubting yourself. Just allow yourself to find all those things, all those events, all those different events that have made you question who you are, that have made you lose certain parts of yourself, all those events. And as you go through the timeline of your life, noticing all those events and the impact that they've had on your life, just listen to your body. Just notice where in your body these parts are. Where do you feel this part of you that says, I am not good enough, as a result of all those things? Just put your hand where that part is. Part in your body where all these events made you feel that I am not good enough. And as you repeat it and say, I am not good enough, where in your body do you feel this voice is coming from that says you are not good enough? The part that has made you lose your confidence, the part that has made you lose your courage, the part of you that has made you procrastinate in life. All those things, the part of you that's made you feel that you're not good enough to succeed, you're not good enough to achieve things, you're not good enough to prosper. Just find that part of you. Once you found that part, I want you to become aware of it. When you join the Unleash the Greatness Within workshop that is coming up in September, I will teach you, take you through a process that helps you release all those things that have been said about you, that helps you be more aligned with who you truly are, that helps you love yourself more, that helps you realize all that greatness that you have inside of you, that helps you take back all those things that you've lost from what was said to you, what was done to you, whatever it is that made you start doubting yourself, that made you start believing that your dreams are out there and not inside of you, that made you start believing that your self-worth, your acknowledgement lies out there and not inside of you, that made you start doubting yourself so much that you had to believe what other people say about who you are, that made you disconnect with your source, with who you truly are.